right now on News Channel 8 at 8.
It was very clear that he wasn't letting anybody leave and that he was not going to drop the weapon.
People with extreme views clash in the most unlikely place. How an argument in Tampa Palms led to murder and federal explosive charges.
You can't wash clothes. If you take a shower and you have this much water, it's like a 30-second shower. You know, you can't flush the toilet.
The severe drought has wells running dry. See how some families are now struggling without running water.
We have an increasing number of black bears in the state, and the likelihood is that we'll be seeing this type of thing more often.
A standoff with a bear. How officials are trying to coax it out of a tree in Polk County. News Channel 8 at 8 begins now.
Good evening, I'm Jen Holloway.
And I'm Josh Benson. Thanks for being with us tonight. We have breaking news tonight. Authorities in the UK have confirmed at least 20 people are dead after two loud bangs described as explosions at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, England. Now here's some video. You can see the chaos inside of that concert venue as people try to get outside. Now we just found out in the last 2 minutes, law enforcement is now investigating this as possible terrorism. Greater Manchester police have tweeted to people to stay away from this area. Also, Ariana Grande tweeted that she is okay following the blast. And Twitter is full of comments right now, so we want to go through some of this video. Now take a good look. This is in the Manchester Arena. It's the largest indoor arena in Europe, 21,000 seats. It opened in 1995, and this was the host of the Dangerous Women Tour, and Ariana Grande was a part of that tonight. Now, we've been following some tweets. Watch the left side of your screen. You can see a very faint light. This is what we believe to be one of the first indications there was an explosion at this arena. This is one of the first pieces of video that has come down now through NBC. And now this is the response to the arena after they heard the explosions. We're taking another look here. We got some tweets in now that we've been following, some dramatic stuff. This is according to Popcrave, at Popcrave. I was at the Ariana Grande show in Manchester. When the show had finished, there was an explosion, a moment of silence, and people started running and screaming. It was terrifying. There are now armed police and helicopters at the arena. I'm stuck in the car park, and I'm shaken up. Now, according to the Dangerous Women Tour from Bianca Landau, she is a rapper, confirmed that Ariana, along with her crew, are okay. The prayers are for all the victims out there. But as you can see, some major breaking news out of England tonight, Manchester, where two explosions occurring at the Ariana Grande concert. 20 people confirmed killed at this point. We're following that number, and hundreds injured. So this is going to be a big story tonight. We're going to stay on top of it for you, and we'll bring you the very latest as it comes in.
All right, also some more breaking news tonight. This a little closer to home. This is out of the trial of Andre Avalos. Just about 45 minutes ago, a jury ruled that he will spend the rest of his life in prison. That same jury convicted him of first-degree murder of his neighbor, Denise Potter, and his pastor, Reverend Trip Battle. That happened in December of 2014. That jury also convicted Avalos of second-degree murder in the death of his wife, Amber. Again, tonight, some breaking news. Andre Avalos sentenced to life in prison. We do have some reaction from locals there in the area. We're going to bring that to you very shortly.
And tonight, a shocking series of discoveries during a double murder investigation in Tampa Palms. The FBI claims in a criminal report they found explosives, bomb-making materials, and radioactive elements, and they believe all of it could be tied to a neo-Nazi group. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson has more now from Tampa Palms.
Friday, 18-year-old Devin Arthurs walks into this smoke shop and told everyone he had just killed two people. Police tell us Arthurs then takes out a gun and orders two customers and an employee to the ground.
You would never think it would happen in this area.
Tampa Palms resident Bill Howard was shocked when we told him what happened in his quiet, upscale community.
This area is one of probably the best in Hillsborough County, I would say.
Eventually, Tampa police officers talked Arthurs into giving up his weapon and letting his hostages go. Arthurs claimed to police he killed his roommates, 22-year-old Jeremy Himmelman and 18-year-old Andrew Wunschuk, because they were neo-Nazis, and Arthurs claims he had recently converted to Islam.
He said that he converted to Islam and that they did not respect his religious views.
Arthurs told police how he shot the victims and where they would be in the apartment.
We went in and we saw exactly what he had described.
Police made other disturbing discoveries inside, finding a cooler with materials to make high explosive bombs, plus two radioactive elements, guns, and ammo. On Sunday, Key Largo police arrested Brandon Russell, who also lived in the apartment. A document from the FBI shows Russell had the bomb-making material, guns, and ammo, plus a framed poster of Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh in his room. The Tampa Police Department is handling the murder investigation. The FBI is looking into how these young men obtained the bomb-making material and the radioactive material and how all of this fit together. Jeff Patterson, News Channel 8.
A Clearwater man with ties to law enforcement arrested over the weekend for drunk driving. Investigators say that Sonny Simons nearly hit an Indian Shores police officer when he reportedly swerved into the wrong lane along Gulf Boulevard. According to a previous arrest record, Simons was working as a supervisor with Bay Pines VA Police Department.
He saw the vehicle coming northbound in the middle of the roadway, and he estimated its speed about 65 miles an hour. The officer had to move quickly into the bicycle path and pedestrian walkway to keep from a head-on collision.
Police tell us he almost hit a second vehicle as well. Detectives say his BAC was nearly 3 times over the legal limit. The VA has not confirmed his current status with the police department at this particular time.
Busted 3 times in a week, and tonight the charges are piling up against 31-year-old Aaron Talley. We first told you about Talley a week ago when deputies say he walked into a classroom at Riverview High School and made threatening comments. And then Thursday, he was arrested for 3 felony counts of child porn. On Friday, detectives say they found even more images and videos and added an additional 32 charges. Talley remains locked up tonight on $350,000 bond.
It could be a long night tonight for Winter Haven neighborhood. FWC officials are saying they're waiting for a bear to climb down from a neighborhood tree. That bear was first spotted this morning roaming an area around Drexel Avenue in the Lake Elbert area. Now, that bear has not been aggressive so far. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission officers say they're trying to safely lure down the bear so they can relocate it.
We have a success story, conservation success story for black bears. We have an increasing number of black bears in the state, and the likelihood is that we'll be seeing this type of thing more often as bear populations increase.
FWC officials recommend keeping your yard clear of things that might attract bears, things like trash, food, even bird seed. They tell us this bear could remain in the tree overnight, well into the morning.
Have some new video into our newsroom tonight of the Pasco County firefighters rescuing a man from a fire. Now, this fire happened at a home on Drexel Road in Land O'Lakes Sunday morning. We're told the man was trapped upstairs. You can see here firefighters quickly carrying him to safety. He was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. That house was a loss. And the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office needs your help to identify a suspected burglar caught on camera. Take a look. Deputies tell us the man you see here broke into a car and stole a credit card. He then went shopping at Best Buy with that card. If you know who this guy is, call Crime Stoppers. You can be anonymous. That number's on your screen. It's 1-800-873-TIPS. And the diverging Diamond Interchange in Sarasota County is officially open. Eagle 8 HD flew over it this morning. You can see how drivers on University Parkway will now be driving in the opposite side of the road from where we're used to. There are also 5 lanes on University Parkway now, and when it's finished, there will be 6. Florida transportation officials tell us the area needed a change, and this should ease some congestion there. Now, if you're heading towards Sarasota County, you'll want to check on WFLA.com. We have an interactive map on exactly how to drive on that interchange right there on the homepage, because it can be tricky if you're not used to it. It's the biggest and the first in that area, so you got to be careful.
That's right. Thank you. Good to say had great weather to drive on and on for the first time.
Absolutely. We're tracking some storms. They're mainly inland, closer to the coast, things like that. It's still pretty quiet this afternoon. So we'll take a look at Max Defender 8 and show you what we're watching out there currently. Our live sweep going around, and you can see all of the rain well east of I-75, the heaviest of the showers and storms up over here as you head towards Orlando. But we are still tracking some heavy rain in the eastern portions of Polk County. You can see those storms drifting off to the north and east, and we'll actually take you kind of more of a 3D look in those storms, and you can see about 30,000 feet the tops of the storm goes up, and as you look east, those storms over by Orlando even stronger this evening. So nice to see some rain in inland spots. More rain as you head towards DeSoto, as you head over towards Arcadia. We're tracking some showers there, drifting slowly off towards the east. Outside now, some dark clouds in Polk County, and rain chances only going up as we head into the middle of this week. Details on a front heading our way in your full forecast.
Coming up next on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38.
It's happened again. A real estate agent's email hacked, and now a young couple is without their down payment. So I want to know, why are agents still using unsecured accounts?
Plus, check your fridge. A warning about metal is behind a recall of 2 popular brands of hot dogs. What you need to know. You're watching Tampa Bay's most convenient primetime newscast. This is News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38. If you've been cheated, when you need help, she's on your side. Better call Bacon.
Well, tonight, a young couple has lost their $10,000 down house payment, all because they thought they were following the real estate agent's instructions. But as it turns out, their agent's email account was hacked, and they were really dealing with a scammer. So they called Shannon Bacon for help.
Sean Vincent and his girlfriend are settling into their new condo with a big problem hanging over their heads.
Do you
feel let down?
Of course. I mean, this is supposed to be my first home. It's supposed to be a great experience. And what happened was just awful.
Their down payment for $10,000 ended up in a crook's hands. The couple scrambled to close.
My brother gracefully, he offered to cover the closing costs for us.
Sean had followed instructions in this email. It turns out realtor Inessa Kosinen's Yahoo email was hacked. The crook, pretending to be the title agent, emailed the realtor asking for Sean's information. And then from a fake email, the scammer sent wiring instructions, sending Sean's down payment who knows where. At first, broker Julie Simpson, seen here on her website for Luxury Beach and Realty, offered to give her agent's commission to Sean.
And she was like, look, we can give you the commission, but, you know, that's all we're pretty much going to give you.
Was she apologetic at all?
No, she was more defensive. Like, I'm the bad guy. Like, her employees' actions didn't affect me.
But after the closing in late April, the real estate office went quiet.
Nothing, no response. I called her multiple times, emailed her, nothing.
So I went to the South Pasadena office looking for answers. Do you know when you expect her to be back?
I have no idea.
The FBI is looking into this and urges real estate agents to use secure email and avoid sending wiring instructions in an email. If you happen to receive an email with wiring instructions, pick up the phone and call your title agent or your real estate agent to get confirmation. Shannon Bacon, 8 on your side.
If you have a problem that needs solving, better call Bacon. The number to call is 1-855-BACON.
An 8 on your side consumer alert tonight. The maker of Nathan's Hot Dogs and Curtis Hot Dogs has issued a recall following consumer complaints of metal. This recall involves 14-ounce sealed film packs labeled Nathan's Skinless 8 Beef Franks. The use-by date is August 19th of 2017. Now, the 16-ounce sealed film packs labeled Curtis Beef Master Beef Franks are also part of the recall. Those have a use-by date of June 15th, 2017. The products were shipped to retail locations nationwide. From now on, CVS is only going to carry sunscreen products with an SPF of 15 or higher. To replace the sunscreens being taken off the shelves, the store is offering more dermatologist-approved options, along with natural and organic choices that meet or exceed FDA standards. SPF 15 is the FDA's minimum recommendation against cancer and sunburn.
Well, Ford Motor Company has a new chief executive at the wheel. CEO Mark Fields replaced today by Jim Hackett. Hackett joined the company's operational ranks last year. He was brought in to run Ford's efforts to develop self-driving vehicles. During Fields' time as CEO, shares of Ford Motor Company dropped 40%. And Tesla now changing its tune when it comes to phasing out free charging. New users can still take advantage if they get another driver to give them a referral code. Existing Tesla owners can give free unlimited charging to up to 5 friends. Current owners can still get free charging if they do decide to buy another Tesla model.
Now, Max Defender 8, the world's most powerful radar, and your Storm Team 8 forecast with meteorologist Julie Phillips.
And many of us picked up some rain this weekend, and in Tampa, officially doing all right for the month of May for rainfall, just ahead of where we typically would be with 1.32 inches of rain. But the drought we've been dealing with has been for many months, so you can still see we're significantly behind in rainfall for the year. Have picked up 5.86 inches, but we're still in need of 5.5 more inches just to catch up to be where we should be for this time of the year. So that puts the drought in perspective for you, while we need to continue to see these steady rains coming down. This evening, most of the rain has been east of I-75, and we're still tracking some showers and storms in places like Polk County. You can see some of these showers drifting to the north and east, beginning to weaken, but earlier saw saw some widespread, very heavy downpours. Still tracking some rain over Auburndale, Winter Haven. Again, these drifting towards Polk City. You'll likely see some rain before too long. Tracking some heavier showers around Brownville as you head over towards Moffett. Sweetwater, these also drifting to the northeast as they weaken through this evening. We're going to continue to see just isolated activity tomorrow, but we'll track a larger system in as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. And this next front that rolls in will be bringing up our rain chances significantly. But for tomorrow, it's going to just be a pleasant day, starting off on the warm side in the mid 70s. By the afternoon hours, we'll top out in the mid to upper 80s. That onshore flow keeps temperatures down a bit. Right now, it's nice out at Land O'Lakes and Connerton, 80 degrees. Picked up 8/100ths of an inch of rain there today. And overall, the temperatures are sitting from the upper 70s to low 80s, so the breeze off the Gulf really helps. It does keep the humidity up, though, looking at fairly humid conditions with dew points in the low 70s for a lot of us. So through tonight, the lingering showers inland will wrap up pretty quickly. When you wake up tomorrow morning, we could see a couple of isolated showers near the coast. Won't see too many, but it's a possibility, and then maybe some isolated activity inland. But it's really Wednesday into Thursday as the front approaches, we'll be bringing up our shower and storm chances, looking at a good 60% chance of storms for the second half of the day on Wednesday as that front approaches. We'll still have lingering showers and some heavy rain around for the first half of the day on Thursday, but clears out just in time for Memorial Day weekend. But I tell you, 50% chance of rain.
That sounds
It's a lot
great.
better than what we've had. Thank you.
Coming up next on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38. Botched beauty. Why patients are using their passport to find perfection, and how the obsession to be beautiful comes with added costs. We'll have that and more coming up on News Channel 8 right here on Great 38.
Well, tonight, patients seeking out the passport to perfection. And there's actually a name for this phenomenon. It's called medical tourism.
And it's more popular than ever now. In fact, more and more Bay Area women are traveling overseas to spend time in the OR, only to come home to wind up in the ER. Our Melanie Michaels shows us this disturbing trend that has doctors here at home doing damage control.
You know, as a woman looking in the mirror naked, I was very sensitive. I couldn't even look in the mirror.
For Catherine Cassandra, it was a daily ritual many of us can relate to. That moment in the mirror where every flaw is front and center.
I was very much into wanting the perfect body.
The constant temptation to take an inventory of imperfections led this Tampa nurse on a worldwide journey, one that began years ago at her father's pizzeria in New York, where too much of a good thing left a bad taste in her mouth, miserable at 220 pounds.
And so what that ended up doing was isolating me from participating in life.
Through diet and exercise, Katie dropped nearly 100 pounds within a year, thinking she was getting ahead until she saw what the weight loss left behind. What she calls a flawed figure that needed fixing. A plastic surgeon in Germany seemed like the solution.
I wanted to walk out knowing that nobody was judging me. And getting liposuction was one of those ways to do it, because then no one had anything to say.
Katie's surgery overseas left her with problems that persisted. Little did she know, the first cut wasn't the deepest. She'd have to go under the knife again when she moved back home.
I like to think that it just doesn't happen to me.
The surgery that was once so right became all about wrong. Dr. Daniel Diaco has seen so many massive malfunctions from overseas surgeries that a third of his practice is dedicated to do-overs.
This is why medical tourism surgery may be penny wise and pound foolish. Because although the initial surgery may cost less than it does in America, when you incorporate the travel and the potential for a complication that won't be fixed by an initial surgeon, the costs can skyrocket.
So where are patients seeking perfection with their passports? Countries in Central and South America. Dr. Edward Ferrier tells us people seem to buy into the stories too good to be true.
My sister, who lives in Costa Rica, had it done and she did fine, and so her doctor told me he would do mine for half price or something, and they go over there and they come back and not a good outcome, and then they end up paying 3 times as much.
This longtime Tampa surgeon says it's simple. Stay stateside. In fact, stay in the Bay Area, he says, with plenty of board-certified surgeons.
I'm one of those people who have to learn from my own mistakes.
In the end, it was indeed a learning experience. For Katie, her surgery saga overseas would end up saving her soul.
And we want to thank Katie for sharing that story with us.
Certainly a very sensitive subject. It certainly takes a lot of courage to go before a camera with a story like that. Now, if you are thinking about having enhancement surgery done, we've got you covered. Our web team has posted the average cost of popular cosmetic surgeries on our website at WFLA.com.
Coming up next on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38.
A trickle of water is as good as it gets. A neighborhood running dry, now in search of answers. We find out what it'll take to get their wells filled again.
Plus, there's a bill on Governor Scott's desk that's looking to crack down on shark finners. We'll tell you the new harsher punishments. We'll have that and more coming up. You're watching Tampa Bay's most convenient primetime newscast. Right now, breaking news on News Channel 8.
If you're just joining us, we have more information on some breaking news out of England tonight. UK authorities are saying that 19 people confirmed dead and more than 50 injured after 2 explosions were heard outside of Manchester Arena during an Ariana Grande concert.
We were also just learning that UK authorities are looking at this all as a possible suicide bombing. Again, dozens are injured, and we understand that several have been killed as well. Take a look at this video. You can see the chaos actually inside that concert venue as people are trying to get out right as that concert ended. U.S. authorities say that some of those deaths and some of the injuries have been caused by the ensuing stampede as thousands of these panicked concert goers are racing to get out of the arena.
And we've been all over social media tonight to bring you these videos and to get feedback from people who were actually there. One person in particular at PopCrave on Twitter says she saw people running and screaming. It was terrifying. There are now armed police and helicopters in the arena, and I'm stuck in the car part and I'm shaken up. Here is some of the video of people trying to get out of there. And the really sad thing about this whole situation, you think of this as a pop concert. Ariana Grande is a young pop star, and who goes to those concerts? The majority of people are teenagers, young teens, preteens, maybe with their parents. So you can imagine the sheer terror and chaos that some of these kids and adults as well dealing with this situation, trying to find parents. It's utter chaos, and it's so sad. Manchester Arena is the largest indoor arena in Europe. It seats about 21,000 people. It opened back in 1995. We're told Ariana Grande and other artists in the Dangerous Women tour are all safe. They've been tweeting tonight. But as we watch Twitter tonight, we're also seeing pictures of faces of people who are missing, and that's really what's heartbreaking here. They have to account for the people who have not only died, but the dozens upon dozens who are injured. So that is where we are left off out of Manchester, England tonight. An Ariana Grande concert, 2 explosions we're told, and we're getting more information about what actually went down. But again, there is a loss of life tonight. We're going to stay on top of this story as it develops into the night. And we're also staying on top of breaking news locally as well. Just in the last hour, we learned Andres Avalos, he'll spend the rest of his life behind bars. Just minutes ago, the widow of Reverend Tripp Battle said she's pleased with the sentencing.
What we really wanted was justice, and I feel that him spending life in prison is justice. And so I'm pleased. I'm at peace.
The jury convicted Avalos on 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of second-degree murder. They were unable to reach a unanimous decision for the death sentence, which is required in the state of Florida.
Well, because of the lack of rain we've had recently, a lot of families depending on wells daily hardly have any water to drink at all. As a matter of fact, one neighborhood in Sarasota County is turning to us for a little help to the situation. 8 on your side's Corey Davis reports tonight there are now limited options.
With hardly any running water in her home, Dawn Seymour is having to get creative.
Absolutely, we're learning to rough it.
The well in her backyard has been dry since Thursday night.
Almost 15 years, I've never experienced this.
It happened without warning for many people in the Twin Lakes subdivision. This is not a rural area, but a lot of people depend on wells as their main source of water, and without it, they're scrambling.
You can't wash clothes. If you take a shower and you have this much water, it's like a 30-second shower. You know, you can't flush the toilets.
It's extra hard for Seymour, having a teenage son and a newborn baby. She's doing things the old-fashioned way, all while getting help from family and neighbors.
Oh, it's frustrating.
Todd Stoltzfitz lives next door and ran a water hose from his well to help Seymour, but he's low on water too.
We have 5 kids, and so all the kids, it's like you've got a minute for that water to be on.
We looked into their options. Some areas are able to get connected to the county water supply if they're close enough to water lines.
In most cases, next day service to get people connected so they don't have to deal with the issue any longer than necessary.
That service could cost the homeowner around $5,000, but that isn't an option for Seymour. The county says there's no quick fix. It would require a large-scale project to connect her neighborhood. The county says Seymour will either have to have a company come out and deepen the well or adjust the pump that goes along with it. Anyone with issues or any questions should call the county at 941-861-5000. In Sarasota County, Corey Davis, 8 on your side.
New tonight, an 8 on your side warning. Winter Haven police say that skimmers were detected at 2 local gas stations in the last 3 weeks. Officers tell us the Circle K on 1st Street and the Citgo on East Central Avenue both hit. It's not yet known how long those devices had been there. Police say a Citgo worker found the skimmer on a pump this morning. And over at the Circle K, a clerk noticed a door had been opened, but the skimmer already removed. 8 on your side has a few ideas from police to keep your information safe when you're pumping. First of all, use the pumps closest to the store. Why? That's because it's harder for scammers to get to those pumps without being noticed. Also, check the pump for unusual markings and make sure to look for that red security tape and that it's still intact. Also, be sure to check the card reader and make sure itself is tight and intact. If you're ever in doubt, just simply pay inside.
Quite a scene off of Fort Myers Beach. The Coast Guard had to stop a runaway boat. Take a look. The 2 people on board the boat were launched overboard at full throttle yesterday, and this was the result. A Good Samaritan was able to pick them up, but the Coast Guard tried unsuccessfully to use rope lines to try to tangle up the propellers. So they waited for the boat to slow down, and they were finally able to jump on board and get that boat under control. And a dangerous weekend on the water near Miami. 11 people were hurt in 3 separate boat crashes. In one incident, a boat collided with a jet ski. 3 people were hospitalized after that crash. And then 3 children and an adult suffered burns when their boat caught fire. And officials say there was also an explosion on board. And 4 more people were hurt, 2 critically, when a catamaran rode up over the back of a console boat. Ironically, this is National Safe Boating Week.
Well, a bill on Governor Rick Scott's desk seeks to discourage the illegal practice of shark finning off Florida's coast. Those proposed changes would severely increase the fines imposed on anyone who's caught finning. The legislation would raise the fine for finning from $500 to $4,500. Poachers also face 60 days in jail and a 180-day suspension of their saltwater license. Although marine activists support the idea of increased penalties on shark finners, they do not believe this bill will have a significant impact on the global trade.
Of course, I hope the governor signs the bill. I think he'd be a fool not to. The United States is not the problem. Asia is the problem. The Chinese fisheries are the problem. The idea that they're dropping nets down into the deep sea, yanking sharks up.
If signed into law, those changes go into effect of October 1st of this year.
President Trump landed in Israel this morning for the second leg of his first foreign trip as president. His visit in Israel tackled the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, regional security issues, and reaffirmed the U.S.-Israel alliance. Now, Trump also made history, becoming the first sitting U.S. president to visit the Western Wall. It was here the White House hoped to lay the groundwork for peace in the Middle East.
This includes a renewed effort at peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians. It's not easy. I've heard it's one of the toughest deals of all.
President Trump also had harsh words for Iran, claiming it would never hold nuclear weapons. Trump remains in Israel through tomorrow.
Well, tonight the White House is getting ready to roll out its first proposed budget, but leaked details already stirring up a lot of controversy. President Trump is expected to push for increases in defense spending, all while cutting funding to programs like Medicaid by as much as $800 billion. That's a move that could leave nearly 10 million people without health insurance over the next decade. Some say they feel this budget is not going to make America great again.
The numbers in this budget represent that, taking the most vulnerable in our population and making their lives worse off.
Experts say the version of this budget is not expected to pass when it reaches Congress. However, Americans will have to wait until Tuesday to know for sure when the White House releases the entire proposed plan.
Coming up next on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38.
If you want to go swimming, you better try another pool because the Cascaden Pool in Tampa remains closed for repairs, and it's going to cost you to fix it.
This is News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38, Tampa Bay's most convenient primetime newscast. Taxpayer dollars wasted? Not on his watch. 8 on your side's Mark Douglas is making sure your hard-earned money isn't going down the drain because you paid for it.
Tampa's historic Cascaden Pool may have water to swim in by Memorial Day weekend, but there are questions floating around about why taxpayers must pay to plug its leaks. 8 on Your Side was the first to break the news last week of Cascaden's closure due to a serious drain leak.
And now a city council member wants to know why the city is sticking taxpayers with this huge bill. You paid for it, so Mark Douglas is on it tonight.
It's been a solid month since the city of Tampa shut down the Cascaden Pool due to a leaking main drain. That was just 8 months after a multi-million-dollar renovation that you paid for.
It definitely was worth the $3.2 million that we spent on this.
But Tampa City Council member Mike Suarez wants to know why last year's renovation contractor isn't picking up the tab for this year's $8,140 leak repair.
It doesn't mean that we should have to pay the bill for something that someone did not check, and they should have checked.
We asked City Contracts Administrator Mike Chukrin about that very thing last week.
From all visual inspections, the drains looked like they were okay.
Maybe so, but Suarez suggests they should have looked harder. And at the very least, the contractor's insurance policy on that job ought to take care of it.
They should be able to pay us back through their insurance proceeds. Now, whether or not that's in there, I don't know, but I'll tell you, that's part of the administration's responsibility.
City administrators are starting repairs on the leaky drain tonight so they can reopen Cascaden in time for this coming holiday weekend. That way, kids can cool down again before Memorial Day. It may take a bit longer for Suarez, who claims the administration swore this sort of thing would not happen before the city council approved millions for last year's renovation.
The question was to make sure that we weren't going to have any other problems with this, that there weren't going to be any more leaks, there weren't going to be any other issues concerning the pool itself.
And now here we are.
And now here we are.
Like the sign says, Cascaden Pool in Tampa remains closed to swimmers. The city hopes to reopen it by Memorial Day, but it's going to cost you to make that happen. In Tampa, I'm Mark Douglas, News Channel 8.
Coming up next on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38. An unconventional bridal photo shoot. Why this bride says men make the best bridesmaid squad. You're watching Tampa Bay's most convenient primetime newscast. This is News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38.
Check this out, a bride's night with her bridesmaids going viral. You can see why. Not your typical bridal party. Rebecca Abrantes is a computer engineering student. She tells us her best friends are 5 guys, all of them classmates. Abrantes told us she does not have, she does rather have female friends, but her closest friends are the guys you see right here. And as you can see, the men filled the role of the traditional bridesmaid just fine, complete with the pink robes, shaved legs, and a few of the typical bridesmaid pictures you would expect to see.
You had me until the shaved legs part. Wow, that's some dedicated friends.
For it.
Yes.
You know, whatever the bride wants, you know?
Good for them. All right, Julie, let's talk about the weather. Got some rain coming our way, yay.
Yes, we do, especially Wednesday into Thursday. That's when our best rain chances are. Saw some rain this weekend, too. That was nice, especially in a few areas closer to the coast. Picked up anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of rain. Now, for the rest of this evening, we just have some lingering showers and storms in our inland spots. Polk County, Highlands County, and that's where the showers are still lingering. You can see some pockets of heavier rain pushing east of Lake Alfred now, moving off to the north and east over towards Davenport. Farther to the south in Highlands County, also tracking some showers as well. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to feel humid, could have a stray shower near the coast, and then by noon, just partly cloudy with some inland storms. So tomorrow's rain chance, not that great. Here's where the changes come, though. As our front develops and pushes south, mainly Wednesday afternoon through midday Thursday. That's going to be our best rain and storm chance. Widespread heavy downpours possible as this front just slowly sinks farther south. So Thursday, still looking at the possibility to see some showers and storms around. And then Could also see some isolated strong to severe storms. The Storm Prediction Center for Wednesday has already put the entire Tampa Bay area in a slight risk of seeing some stronger to severe storms. We'll watch that risk for you. Of course, though, we'll welcome the rainfall as it rolls in. Also, slightly cooler weather as we see extra clouds and rain falling below average in the mid-80s. Heading into next week and the Memorial Day weekend will dry out and actually shaping up very nicely with highs near 90 each afternoon.
All right, well, thank you, Julie. Billy Bush is finally talking about the leaked 2005 Access Hollywood tape. That's the one that featured he and Donald Trump and the one that cost him his job. The infamous video cost his gig on the Today Show. And in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Bush says if he could go back to that day, he would have just changed the subject altogether. He also told the magazine the irony is glaring that he was fired over the video while Donald Trump went on to become president. And a sea lion looking for a snack actually snatched this little girl. This is kind of scary. Watch this. She was on the dock there in Canada's west coast. It happens in a split second. The girl sits down. The sea lion grabs her by the dress and pulls her right in the water. A man thankfully jumped in and saved the child, who appears to be okay. The animal likely thought the girl's dress was maybe a tasty treat. That's all according to a local marine mammal expert. A witness says people were feeding the sea lion some breadcrumbs right before it snatched the little girl into the water.
Moonlight and Hidden Figures star Janelle Monáe has landed her next big screen role. Plus, the final chapter of a horror series might not be so final after all. Rick Damigella has the details and more in the Hollywood Minute.
My name is Alice, and this is my story. The end of my story.
Or perhaps not. Resident Evil, the final chapter, as its name implied, was billed as the end of the movie series based on the popular video game franchise. Variety reports a reboot of the Resident Evil movies is being planned. A spokesperson for German production company Constantine Film told Variety a reboot is in development. No word on cast or a potential director. Casting news, Janelle Monáe and Leslie Mann have signed on to Robert Zemeckis' new film. The untitled project is based on the 2010 documentary Marwan Call, about a man who builds a miniature of a World War II-era village in his backyard as a form of therapy after suffering a brain injury. Fans of anime legend Hayao Miyazaki have something to be excited about. Deadline Hollywood reported in February that the acclaimed animation director was coming out of retirement to work on a new film. Engadget reports a job listing from Miyazaki's studio seeking artists and animators confirms that work on the feature will begin in October. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Hey, coming up next in sports, the Bucs actually get their first-round draft pick signed on the eve of the first spring football practice.
Nice timing, and if you like home runs, the Trop could be the place for you beginning tonight. Dan Lucas previews a series with two of the top hitters in all of baseball next.
Well, on the eve of Bucs organized team activity practices, rookie tight end O.J. Howard is a very happy man. That's because the Bucs' first-round pick has put the business of football behind him by signing his rookie contract. Now, the Bucs announced Howard's deal today, as well as the official word on backup quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. So how do you celebrate this? Well, Howard spent the afternoon at the Trop taking batting practice with the Rays. Looking good there, launching a few balls to center field where he once played as an Under Armour All-American. He also threw out the first pitch tonight, so fun night for Howard at the Rays game. Now, Howard will be on the field tomorrow at One Buck Place, where offensive coordinator Todd Monken has ordered all pass catchers, especially wide receiver Mike Evans, to focus on yards after the catch this year. Evans was 66th in the NFL last year in yards after the catch, and that improvement begins with the accuracy of quarterback Jameis Winston, who must give Evans a chance to run with perfectly thrown passes.
With the emphasis we've placed on precision towards the latter part of the year and this offseason, we chart that every day. Every single one of his throws are charted on a scale of precise, accurate, and off. I give that to them on a daily basis, tell them where they were and how they compared to the previous day. So we'll look to improve that on our end with the ability to turn a receiver into a ball carrier.
Two of the American League's top 3 hitters swinging the bats at Tropicana Field beginning tonight. The Rays and Angels play a 4-game series. They're underway as we speak, tied in the 5th inning. The Angels, Mike Trout is doing his thing. 14 home runs so far, second in the American League with a .350 batting average. But how many people saw Corey Dickerson coming? The Rays outfielder is on a tear the last 4 weeks, belting 5 home runs in his last 5 games. He had 11. He now has 12. He hit one tonight. And he sits right behind Trout at 3rd in the American League with a .347 average.
I've always, been able to produce whenever I, got the opportunity. And, last year I wasn't fully healthy from the year before, and, had an off season to really work on my body, work on everything I needed to get back to where I was, and I think that did contribute. And I'm just playing the game hard, trying to have fun.
He was my pick to click this year just because I knew that he was going to be a lot more comfortable around the guys, know how everything works, figure out the pitching, all that. So it really doesn't surprise me. He's absolutely amazing up there in the batter's box.
All right, producer Brad digs deep every night to find these dazzling stories. You want to see nearly 1,000 greasy guys and gals forming a human pyramid. I mean, we do this after the show. It's crazy. This was in Annapolis, Maryland. It's an annual tradition. The freshman class, or the plebes, at the U.S. Naval Academy. They got to swap out a hat atop a 21-foot tall monument. They cover it in Crisco. But as you can see, the kids conquered. Go plebes. Took them about 2.5 hours there to get it done.
I'm going to have to skip tonight. I got to get home.
I was going to say, I'm not sure we could.
Yeah, it's going to have to.
Got the Crisco fired up. There you go.
Whatever works, right? All right. Let's check the weather real quick.
And still few storms inland. Other than that, they're going to be a quiet night tonight. Temperatures only dropping back into the mid-70s. Tomorrow, not bad. Still fairly small rain chances.
All right. Thanks, Julie. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night here on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38.
We're going to have the latest out of Manchester over on News Channel 8 at 11 o'clock. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good night.